Welcome back to a weekly gaming news show. Today is Sunday, October 7th, 2018. We are at episode 121. Pretty well into triple digits.
I know, right? We're closer to 150 than we are to anything else. Like, we're about to hit that threshold again.
Yeah. So we're moving on up, right?
Moving on up. I feel like every episode for the last 3 weeks I've had to apologize for something. Last week we had a problem. We do go live on both Twitch and on Facebook. The Twitch stream was having issues and Boogie was essentially muted the entire stream. No technical difficulties so far. So far, so good. Shout out to our live chat, Mount Lover, Maury, Jen. We also got our people over on Facebook as well. Thank you all for tuning in. It's 121. We got a lot of news to talk about. We got a lot of updates to talk about as well. So let's go ahead and just jump into our updates and corrections. This, once again, is dealing with Telltale Games.
Yes, ongoing saga, man.
I know, it's like the saga continues. It's like we never, it doesn't seem that we're going to hear the end of this story for quite some time. But for those of you that didn't catch last week's show and hasn't been, necessarily keeping up with everything, the last we heard from Telltale Games was that they were still shopping around for somebody to help them finish the final chapter of The Walking Dead. A lot of people had gotten
laid off,
except for a skeleton crew of about 25.
Right.
And now the update is that some of the 25 have been dropped off as well.
Right. It's no specific as to how many have been released. This comes actually from a tweet. Mm-hmm. One of the leftovers, one of the people, the leftovers,
the final 25.
Yeah, one of the remaining few went to Twitter and noted that she had two been let go, and she did come back. At first, it was thought that meant the whole team was gone, but she came back and said there were still people left after she got let go. So there's still people there doing stuff, but the staff is definitely dwindling, and
right.
Until it hits zero, I guess.
Yeah, and another tweet that came out from somebody else that works at Telltale. Apparently, the company isn't like going away. Like, they're not like closing down or anything like that. They're going to be open for the foreseeable future. It's just that their staff is going to be a very small crew,
like administrators essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not all. We have even more updates around Telltale Games because I think it was either last night or this morning.
Yeah.
The day before.
It was last night because it was at isn't there like a Comic-Con going on out west, right? Because it was announced at that it was announced at a convention.
Okay.
But yeah, Skybound Games is going to pick up and finish developing the final season of The Walking Dead.
Right. So essentially, just episodes 3 and 4 will be done under Skybound Entertainment.
Yeah, Skybound Entertainment. That's correct. And Skybound Entertainment is the company that founded, or I think the head or somebody. I think it's the head of the company. They actually founded the Walking Dead comics. So they do have they do have experience with the Walking Dead.
Okay. So my question is, are they going to be rehiring some of the people from the original team?
Yes, they did say that there would be people from the original development team working on it. Yes.
Okay. So I guess all's well as it ends well. Of course, we'll have to wait and see when the actual final product comes out.
Right.
Episodes 1 and 2 have been released so far. I don't know what the reception's been of it. I mean, a lot of people are just kind of saddened by the state of Telltale Games as a company. So I haven't really heard anything negative as far as the actual product, but it'll be interesting to see exactly how it ends. And above all else, I hope that it retains the integrity that the original team put into it. Like they get to fulfill their original vision. Because this mess that's been going on has definitely caused issues with that.
Yeah, definitely. So
And,
yeah,
I'm sure some of those people, that were on the original team that were let off, have already looked for other jobs because they lost their health
they lost
insurance.
everything.
They lost
They
everything.
they got no severance, and they just was put out on the streets. So they lost
Right.
all their insurance, all their benefits, and the most important benefit, paycheck.
Right. Yeah. They
So,
weren't getting that cash.
right.
So we'll wait and see. I mean, this appears to be good news, at least on face value, but time will tell. And once that happens, we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. So that was our updates and corrections from our last episode. If you want more information on everything that's been going on with Telltale Games, links will be in our show notes, which you can check out on our Facebook page. You can see down at the bottom of the screen all of our information there. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook because we do go live there as well. And anytime that we come up with a story that we're going to be talking about, we usually post it on Facebook to give you guys a heads up on some of the things that we're keeping our eyes on. Yeah, it's one of the best ways that you can keep up with us. So now we can go ahead and get into the weekly icebreaker, and this is just a question that we ask of each other to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming related or pop culture related topics. And this icebreaker actually has to deal with one of the stories that we'll be talking about later on in the show, which is the announcement that there will be a new version of the Nintendo Switch coming in 2019. So the question we want to ask is, what do you want to see on the new Switch hardware? And Boogie, I'll let you go first because, and I'll give you the reason when I explain it.
Okay. Me personally, I would like to see a nice, probably 3 to 4 inch tall, 2-inch wide pile of shit. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus.
If they're gonna do new hardware, something they should have done with this hardware is they need more internal storage. I mean, 32 gigabytes in this day and age is insulting.
Nothing,
It should at least come with 256 for a game system. I know it's not HD, so you don't necessarily need the full terabyte, but 256 should be a minimum of internal hard drive space, especially when you look at, you got 32 and 8 are used for the operating system.
Right.
So I think that's insulting. I know you can get an SD card, and it can go up to 130, a micro SD card for up to 100. Up to 1 terabyte, but
that's more money out of your pocket.
Yeah, there's no reason to sell a $300 device with 32 gigs of internal memory. That's insulting.
Yeah. What I want to see on this new Switch hardware. Okay, and we'll get into this more when we actually talk about the story or whatnot. But I'm under the impression that this new Switch version isn't necessarily to bring out anything new. I honestly think that if they were to add any additional features, or like this is like a Switch 2, a lot of current Switch owners are going to be pissed off, and Nintendo does not want to piss off the highly susceptible audience that they currently have.
Really? Is that why they keep re-releasing Wii U games for full price?
Yeah, I mean, there is that.
I don't think they care.
You would think that they care. That they should care, but I don't think that this is actually going to be a new version in the sense that we're thinking about. Like, I don't think this is going to be like a modular upgrade or anything like that.
Right.
I think they're going to fix a couple of problems that they had with the original release. And maybe we'll get some small features that may trickle down later on as like firmware updates. I have no real idea, and we'll talk about it more here in a bit. But if they were to add one thing, it would need to be the ability to voice chat without the stupid phone, which I doubt will ever happen because they're going like all in on this phone app for some odd reason.
I think I don't think that's a hardware issue. I think that's a software issue, and for them to add that type of feature, they'll have to build that OS from the ground up, rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah, and it sucks that that's the case, but whatever. We'll talk about this more down in the actual top 5 or the 5 top stories, which is where we have that listed. But we want to pass the question off to you guys. What do you want to see in this new Switch hardware version? Is there anything specific? Let us know down in the comment section below. depending on where you are watching this material. And if you would like to ask us a question for the weekly icebreaker, you can do so via Twitter. If you have a Twitter account, use the hashtag AskAWGNS and just ask us anything video game or pop culture related, and we'll definitely answer your question live on the show during this segment. Now, with that out the way, we can go ahead and get into the actual news. And we're going to start off with our quick hits. These are short stories or short news articles that popped up this week. They weren't the most trending, they didn't get the most traction, but there are some stories in here that we would like to talk about, some that were interesting to us. And if you would like to submit stories to us, they'll most likely be added to this section as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. First on the list, and we're still talking Nintendo, because news came out, or there's whispers in the wind, that Shenmue, at least the original game, may be coming to the Nintendo Switch if the demand is high enough.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on this, Boogie?
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Again, Shenmue, I played Shenmue on the Dreamcast. I thought it was fabulous. I think the Switch can do a Shenmue, especially if it's just doing the remasters, 1 and 2 remastered. I think that'd be fine. And again, because it's a single player game, it's something that fits the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, I've always said the Nintendo Switch being what it is, where you can just pick it up and go play anywhere else in your house. You don't have to be attached to the TV. And if it's not a game where I'm expecting it to be visually stunning and top notch HD detailed graphics,
I don't know, man. Shenmue's pretty beautiful, if you ask me.
But yeah, no, it is. But when you look at my original experience was on the Dreamcast, and the Nintendo Switch is much more powerful than the Dreamcast.
Is it though? No, I'm just kidding.
so my memory of it, the Nintendo Switch would be able to do justice. It'll render it better than the Dreamcast. Now, if I had it on the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, getting it on the Switch is a no-go. But just with my memory still of that game still being quite a bit blocky on the Dreamcast. So it was good. It wasn't up to today's standards. It being on the Switch, I think that wouldn't be a bad move.
Yeah, it's same here. Anything that's coming out on multi-platforms, I feel like it should be on the Switch. The Switch definitely needs to up its library, especially when it comes to third-party games. I feel like there's a lot of hidden potential. For the Switch owners, and a lot of Switch owners are actually people that have not owned or played a lot of these games.
Yeah, because all they play is Mario and Mario Kart.
right.
Smash Bros.
So you either have old school Nintendo fans that are still rocking with Nintendo after all these years, or you have brand new gamers that were born way after the lifespan of the Dreamcast. So Shenmue is a classic in its own right. It was probably the beginning of the sandbox genre as we know it today.
You know what? You just said, I'm sorry to cut you off. That just made me realize that there's people graduating high school this year after the Dreamcast has been long gone.
It's crazy, man.
Wow.
He is old. We some old boys over here. But yeah, any chance that people can get to play this game, I say, go ahead and let them have it. Hopefully the demand is high enough, compared to the current line of software that is currently out on, or hardware, I should say, with the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 and PC, it is a much smaller base of players, compared to what is already currently out on. So it'll be interesting to see just how many people need to be interested for it to be ported over to the Switch. I doubt that it would be too taxing on the Sega team, Sega AM2, or whoever's doing the ports these days.
I will say this. Something that caught my eye on this article is that they said if there's demand, and we know in the past with the Wii, the Wii U, and even the Switch now, first-party games rule. First-party IP games rule.
Exactly.
So when you look at Mario versus Rabbids, it's not a first-party game, but it's Mario. So that did well. most third-party games don't do very well on Nintendo hardware, and that's where I think this is coming from. And I still think that's still the case, because when
Right.
you look at the list of all the best-selling Switch games, nine out of 10 of them are first-party games. When you look at is Donkey Kong Country or Mario Tennis and Mario Odyssey and Zelda and Splatoon, and those are the games that are really selling. I mean, they got a couple like Octopath Traveler was in there. Right. For a little while, and I think wasn't that Street Fighter game up there for a while too? It was something else. It was another third party game that was in there for a little while, but for the most part, it's only first party games, and this is where a lot of the not just Sega, but a lot of the publishers look at the Switch and like, yeah, you sold 14 million of them, but 13 million of those people are only playing Nintendo games, and there's only 1 million people that are willing to buy our games on your system, and that's the problem they have.
And I think this is the reason why Sega is taking this approach. Like, if there's demand, we'll make it happen.
Right.
I think they're kind of like testing the waters. They're not, going full on like, okay, we're making this for the Switch. They're seeing, what the people want, like how many. And Sega has been really good with like putting out surveys and like gathering information on their player base. So they're probably trying to see, because a lot of people, if they wanted Shenmue 1 and 2, they probably already have it.
Right,
on one of
PC,
the other one of the other
Xbox
consoles or PC. So this is a good way to test the waters and see how many players out there are fans of Shenmue, but don't have access to the other consoles or PC. Right. And if that demand is high enough, they'll start releasing more games on there. We could probably see Bayonetta 1 or Vanquish or all of the other games that they re-released on multiple platforms and PC. We may see those on the Switch, but the demand has to be there. I think this is a good way to test it out.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be a way for them to make their money back.
Right. Exactly. So let us know what you guys think. If you already have Shenmue, would you repurchase it, or do you want Shenmue on the Switch if it's your only console? Let us know down in those comment sections, and let's go ahead and move on to our next story in the quick hit section. And this one's actually pretty interesting because there is a company called Liquid Media Group that has just been gobbling up old IPs from a now defunct gaming studio known as Acclaim.
All right, so
let's just go and jump into it.
Yeah, this is interesting in that they didn't get the actual IPs; they got the specifics. Right. They got the specific SKUs. So, for instance, there's the one that everybody's reporting on is Street Fighter, the movie, the game. So they didn't get the rights to Street Fighter, of course.
Right? It's a Capcom game.
Right, but they have the right to publish Street Fighter, the movie, the game again, so they can release that again if they wanted to. And there's some interesting games on it. Exactly. I mean, Virtual Open Tennis is something I played a lot. There's a couple of NBA Jam games. Busted Movies in there, Bubble Bobble. NBA Jam, NFL Quarterback Club, which is like a football version of NBA Jam. There was an NHL game, Super Buster Move. I mean, there's some Wet Tricks. There's a couple of games in there. This seems to me, this is like a Canadian company. This seems to me that they're going to release one of these classic console or multi-game consoles. Maybe they're going to put a bunch of these ROMs onto a board and sell it as a bundle. Yeah, and
what's interesting is that the Canadian company Liquid Media actually purchased another Canadian company known as Throwback, and they're the ones who acquired the majority of Acclaim when they went out of business. I think that was like 2004. Was it 04?
I will have to look that.
I think that was in 2004 when that happened.
It's been so long that
2004. Yeah, so Acclaim went out of business in 2004. Throwback Games or Throwback Media, I can't remember exactly what it's called. They acquired the majority of the rights that they had, and now those rights belong to Liquid Media Group. Right. So just passing along these weird IPs and these weird games. But I could see something like that where I really don't know what else they could possibly do with these IPs. Because
again, they're not IPs. they're just specific games.
Specific games. They have like the
games.
SKUs for these games. They can redistribute them. They have the publishing rights for these individual games. Like for instance, Bubble Bobble, they only have the rights for the PC version of Bubble Bobble.
Exactly.
But they don't even have like all the distribution rights for the entire franchise. Just one specific version of the game, which is very weird.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I can see with them doing with this is classic console type deal.
Yeah, throwback console collection, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3.
Yeah, I can see that. But my second thing is of these games, which one of these games are sellers? Who's gonna be like, oh my god, there's a Super Buster move from, I want that. Nobody wants that, so I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I can see people going nostalgic over NBA Jam.
NBA Jam, yeah. I mean, I can even see people getting nostalgic over the Street Fighter movie game. I mean, it's horrendous. It's a terrible experience. But I can see people, just buying it for the lulz. That seems to be a thing that people do these days.
The only thing worse than the movie was the game.
Yeah. That is a fact of life. But yeah, I agree. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. If you are a fan of any of these games, and Acclaim actually owned or made a lot of games back in the 90s and 2000s. Right. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what else Liquid Media Group has.
It's funny, even in the 80s, because Acclaim was like one of the big, Activision and Acclaim were one of the big game makers on the Atari systems of 2600 and 5200.
Yeah, they were. So yeah, pretty interesting story that came out. I mean, it's always a rare occurrence when we get to talk about Street Fighter the movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh god. Raul Julia.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to that guy. I was like, I think that was his last movie.
It was one of the last movies he did. That's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. So let's go ahead.
He was a good actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I don't know what his agent should have got fired for that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure something happened to that guy. Went missing. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And we're heading into leak territory. Yeah, we don't normally talk about leaks, but this one has been all but confirmed. There's been gameplay. There's a lot of different images out there, and it looks like a new Harry Potter game is in the works.
Yeah, and this is, Harry Potter has always been or had been mainly a preteen type IP, but this one seems to be quite a bit darker. More not where there's death and unspeakable spells is what they call them, I think, in the Harry Potter parlance. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out. Me personally, I'm not interested in Harry Potter at all. I've watched maybe the first 2 or 3 movies, and I don't know.
You're not into Harry Potter, but you watched the first 2 movies. I read the first chapter of the first book, and I haven't seen any movies except for the last one, but I fell asleep during it.
Yeah, I saw 2 or 3 of them, and it's mainly because my niece, who's right now, she's an adult teacher now, but that was her thing, her teenage. Yeah, Harry Potter, that was her thing. So I think we watched it at the house or something, rented it for her or something, because she used to come over and babysit or whatever. So, but I'm not interested.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm excited about it. I mean, when you think of Harry Potter video games, you think of those ones that were, made by EA, that were just like trying to be like they were essentially the embodiment of bad movie games, bad games based on movies, I should say, where they're super rushed, not a lot of polish. And bugs and glitches all over the place, but I mean, this one seems to not really take place in any of the established continuity.
Right. I think it's sometime after.
Sometime after Harry's adventure. You take you're in Hogwarts and you're a 5th year student, and you're on this like crazy adventure. I don't know. I would have to see a little bit more. I actually didn't get a chance to see the leaked gameplay because I forgot who it was. Was it Warner Brothers? Warner Brothers that took down the footage.
I would probably think because that's their property, isn't it? Warner Harry Potter is their property.
Yeah, because videos were up on YouTube. They have since been taken down.
Yeah, all of them.
So I haven't been able to see the actual gameplay, but it doesn't seem terrible. I'd have to definitely get my eyes on it before I made any decisions. But I'm definitely not in the market for a Harry Potter video game. So
no, I'm not either. But I mean, like I said, if you make it, people will appreciate it. Yeah. And there's tons and tons of Harry Potter fans out there. It's a huge property. It can arguably rival Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
With the fan base and the dedicated followers. I mean, they have like Harry Potter pop-up bars have been well received.
Right.
They have rides or was it down in Orlando? I think it's the Universal Orlando, maybe. They have the Harry Potter rides, which are always popular. So there's definitely a market for it.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting how it's received because Harry Potter had previously always been more preteen light fare. This seems to be going in a more dark adult theme here.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to wait and see. As of right now, there has not been an official announcement of the game. I expect to see it pretty soon because everybody knows about it now.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on. We have a couple more quick hits for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one.
We got Blizzard. News out of Blizzard. Blizzard's co-founder has stepped down. It looks like he's going to be retiring.
After what, like 22 years?
21 years. He actually was a co-founder with what's the guy's
27
name?
years.
27 years. Damn, 1991. That's right. He was a co-founder with the CEO who retired in 2007, and I don't see his name here, and I don't remember his name. But the company was originally called Silicon and Synapse back in 1991 when it was founded, and they changed to Blizzard, and he's been pretty much at the helm for the past however long it's been. 1997, I think it says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to hang it up. Everybody gets to the end of that road there, and it's going to be passed off to J. Allen Brack, who'll be taking over as president, and he's been the lead for World of Warcraft for the past 12 years. So he's no rookie. He's definitely ingrained in the culture and been working on one of Blizzard's most popular or most famous IPs for the past decade, more than a decade.
Decade plus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just stepping down. Was there any indication that he was stepping down to start something new, or is he just retiring?
It sounds like to me, for all the reports I've read, he's just going to ride off into the sunset. He's going to stay on a while as a consultant or basically typically when they do these things, they like to do a soft handoff. So he'll stay on, show him the ropes, hand it over, and eventually he'll just see himself out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, 27 years doing this, being at the top of Blizzard. About time he handed it off to somebody else. Let the young blood continue his legacy, I guess.
And it's not like Blizzard is in trouble. I mean, they have a huge hit with Overwatch in the Overwatch League. They've got the World of Warcraft. The latest expansion went over well, and apparently they have something else in the works.
Yeah,
that's unannounced. So, and then they still got Diablo, and I think that's what it was. There's going to be a Diablo announcement at this. I'm sure there's a Comic-Con. There's a convention going on right now.
Is BlizzCon going on?
No, BlizzCon is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
No,
it's in November. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Comic-Con.
I don't think it's New York.
No, it's out west. Is out west because that's where the earlier news the Telltale games came out of that convention, and that's why it was at like 9:00 at night because it was actually in the afternoon out west. I forgot what's going on out there right now, but it's something going on out there. They'll probably make a more of an announcement or talk about it on stage at BlizzCon. I wouldn't be surprised. And good luck to him. And,
good luck to any and all of his future endeavors. We have one more quick hit for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into it. This time we're talking about PlayStation Plus free games for November. And I know we're a little early.
A little bit early.
We're a little bit early on this one, but these games were actually leaked out to the internet. And it showed off that Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition and Yakuza Kiwami would be the 2 games for free on PlayStation 4 for PlayStation Plus members.
Right. And this leak is actually directly from Sony themselves. They posted it on the US PlayStation blog site. It was up there for almost a day before it was actually pulled down. I mean, if you look at the graphic, it looks official because that's official Sony.
That's the official graphic, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, Yakuza Kiwami, that's the very first Yakuza game.
That's the very first Yakuza game remastered in the most recent engine. Right. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've wanted to play it since I heard about it. And if I can get it for free, I'm in there.
Yeah. And then Bulletstorm, actually, I thought it was an underrated game. It was
not bad.
It's a fun game. I think this was this Epic?
Yeah. It was this was People Can Fly.
Okay, Epic was the other one. It was Epic did one too, but yeah, I think
it was
this was Epic.
Epic and People Can Fly. It was co-developed by both teams.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it. I think the problem with this game is because it was coming out of Epic, and they had that Gears of War success. So it was very high expectations.
They were expecting more like Gears, and it's not Gears.
It's definitely not Gears, but it is a if you like shoot 'em ups.
Yeah, it's an arcadey style shoot 'em up. Lots of blood, lots of action.
Comedy is funny. It's
pretty funny.
It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend it. If these 2 games are going to be free, I think that November Sony's going to. I mean, that's a good pickup for Sony.
Oh yeah. These are both definitely. I wouldn't say Bulletstorm is a must play, but definitely Yakuza is a must play. And if you haven't played Bulletstorm, I would say give it a try.
If you can get it for free, I think you'll have fun with it. I think you'll have fun with it. It's free. It's not costing you anything. It's no reason not to.
Right. But the thing is, since this was leaked early, there is always the chance that they can change up the games once November comes around. So hopefully they stick to these 2. But we won't know the actual official games for November PlayStation Plus until the week before November starts. So we'll look out for any updates, and we'll let you guys know. But we usually at the end of the month, we usually go over what the free games for Xbox and PlayStation and are going to be, and hopefully these don't get changed because I definitely want some Yakuza Kiwami in my life.
Yeah, definitely. I would try both of those definitely. Yeah. I will replay Bulletstorm and I will try Yakuza for sure.
Yeah, definitely.